是有用的。空就对了，看看 C 盘多还是少，看看 C 盘20，Okay, almost done. And what's next? Silver bullet, and most importantly, I need to check something like this one. Gmail, dev. So which one? Manage my accounts and click the privacy, right? Privacy and terms of services and country version and something like update, manage, export, delete information. 忘了是哪，这个得改。看闲鱼呢，咋改？看看我们收藏。在哪儿呢？帖子啊，对，这个。常见问题解答 FAQ，OK。Change your region. Select country, of course, America. America. 沙漠，美国 United States. Select a state. New York. Or maybe Oregon. Why should this region be associated with your account? I frequently use a virtual private network. Submit. Has been submitted. User could change associate account to. Okay, thanks. And let's change another thing. This one. Insane shadow data. You can see. Okay, where is that? Manage my account, right? Manage 8. What? Oh, Gmail. Shit, I do not have a Gmail. What? Okay. How could it be? Gmail. Chén-Zhú. 哦，是没开是吧？开一下。 Gmail? Outlook.com. It's interesting. U key O dual links. What? What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh shit. Okay. So XCZ feed what? Shit. Shit. Unpin. 算了算了，不搞了，无语。哦，密码还填错。隐私权，常见问题，服务调配，这样就行。 name almost. Oh my god. Gmail and account and manage your account and privacy and FAQ, right? And no, the terms of services is China, so it should be changed into some. It should be United States. I'm gonna use share my device with others. Submit. States. Of course, Oregon or I'm not so sure. Minnesota. Submit. Good. 2 accounts done, right? A lot of things to do. It has to be done manually. Graph prop. Let me see what the fuck happens then. 4 years of civil. Yeah. Take a look. Copy 6 items. Cut. Holy shit. Add new page button to add new page. To comment, open the folder. Okay, get it. I decided to add branch, rename, delete, copy paste functions. Use control click, set files once you include in the branch. Oh, I get it. Interesting. Graph view plot. Interesting. Plug template. Okay, get it. Align. Floating cursor position. Okay, V, right?
Check import, so GD, and I'm right there. Let me try that with a library import. Let's see how it does on this one here. Excellent. This is something quite cool because I often find in Vim with LSP it's difficult to go to library definitions. I've certainly found that very fiddly and or slow. And this just works right out of the box, and I can use the standard Vim Control O to jump back to the original file here. Next, let's demo another aspect of the language circuit protocol. Let's go to all references to the symbol with G_A. Now we're looking at something called a multi-buffer. We can see extracts of this particular symbol in each file. I can use the star operator from Vim to travel between them, to travel between each file like this, which is really cool.
Oh,
Something else that I can do is I can fold all of these.
So, okay, interesting.
That That's Z capital M to fold them all, so you can see each particular file, and then Z capital OR opens them all. Now something else I can do is go into a particular file with G space and see that particular constant or symbol in use there. I can do Control O to go back to this view, and something really wild here is I can make edits in each one, and then save them all with, for example, W all, and then undo, save again. Lastly, I can copy and paste things between each file, like this, which is also really cool. That multi-buffer view is also used heavily in the project-wide search or project-wide search and replace. So let me first quickly demonstrate the local search, which is just slash as you'd expect in Vim key bindings. And if I look up date within here, I can press N to go to the next entries and capital N to go backwards. But we don't want that, so I'm going to escape out of that. And now I'm going to go into the global find or find and replace view with G slash. I can also escape out of, close this down and do the same thing with Command Shift F, which is familiar for a lot of people. I know it's not Vim key bindings, but like everyone knows that. Now that we're in the project-wide search and replace view, let's give ourselves a goal. My goal is going to be to replace anything that has datetime underscore X with time underscore X. So the first thing I want to do is ensure that it is case sensitive. So that's going to be Command-Alt-C. The next thing I want to do is make sure that regex is enabled. It's actually currently enabled. You can see this over here, but it's triggered on and off there. And now I want to capture what's in here. One cool thing about Z is that it uses normal regex syntax rather than the special Vim one. And I really appreciate it. It makes everything a lot easier to remember. Now I'm going to trigger the replace view. I'm going to do time underscore $1, use what's captured here. And yeah, let's trigger that search and see what happens. Okay, and now I've replaced all matches. Very cool. Of course, in real life, you'd probably use something like language server protocol change definition, but perhaps there are cases when you can't really do that. By the way, also, you might want to filter to certain file types. That's possible here, and it works as you'd expect. From the context of this multi-buffer, I can again save all at once, or I can undo all at once, just like that. I wanted to make
Minimal code editor crafted for speed and collaboration with humans and AI. What? Bring your own agent. Z user story. I become an open source contributor.
My name's Remy. I work for Docker. At Docker, I work on the Visual Studio Code extension, and I also do like the language server stuff. I mainly use VS Code, but I have been trying to use Z more. When I installed Z, I was impressed by its snappiness and performance and kind of startup. Everything felt very fast, and I enjoyed having the Vim mode. As a simple Vim user, I find the experience on Z quite nice. So I would say the way I work in Z is very close to VS Code. So I'll just use Command P to find the files I'm looking at. Yeah, I guess usually I'll use the mouse to go up and down, but with the Vim mode, it's more natural for me to just type the line number. But yeah, I find that part nice. Yeah, I just enjoy using the Vim mode and like being able to quickly rename stuff without switching over to the mouse all the time. So just simple stuff like if I went to here, I'll just do GD to jump over there and do GRN to replace and then rename everything over. Then, you know, I'll just like use :W to save. So all of that feels very natural. I do like that this stuff is here, that you can turn it on and off easily. One thing I like is the inline git plane. I think VS Code doesn't have this natively, I believe, and you need to use the git lens extension. So again, this is where I like the, you know, official package. Everything's there already. I'll just go to a line that like, oh, I made a change some time ago. What was that about? And I'll go here. Then I'll be able to click on this link, and then it'll open the diff, and then I can review it and try to see what I was doing. If I did it in VS Code, I think I usually end up opening it in the browser, but having it inline here is also convenient. It keeps me in my editor, so I don't need to alt-tab back and forth. So I'll say thank you to Zed for starting the Asian Client Protocol initiative. I think that's very good. At Docker, we support ACP with our C agent. I have used the AI features. I've used, I think it's this guy. Yeah, so I've talked with Cloud Code direct integration here also. So you can just go to your settings and then create a new ACP implementation, and it'll show up over here. So again, I think the documentation and the ease of integrating your own coding agents after you've written an ACP bridge, I was very impressed by how easy it was to set up.
Star Winbox.js. Okay. I don't know what is that, but maybe 思源 you use something like that. Interesting. Local videos. Transclusion. Okay. Good. So oh, impressive. Transclusion. That would be some. Alt Shift K, and let's see something like which file is that? File picker, yes. I think that's this one, right? Alt F to go to. What the hell? Huh. Interesting. Embed PDFs are displayed in a weird way. Oh, interesting. Something related to transglute 2. Let's say specific file type or some shit, right? Transglute. Which means MP3. Four. And PDF. Ooh. Something like this, right? But it's PDF. A style. Yep. Cool. Shit. 我操！天呐，这么屌！我勒个去，真劲屌啊！我日！牛批！我想想啊 ，close and copy that. Holy shit！ 把它放哪儿 ？Some instances.去哪找？记得有一个什么。find you. Whoa, interesting. Interesting. Copy that. It's very fast. Let me see some version. Okay. Interesting. Nope, don't do that. Inside panel. I think V mode and yeah. Let's see. Should using sidebar. Ooh, interesting. is a little bit related to float. I think floating, right? Float. Holy shit. Print preview, yes. And yes. Yes, 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 yes. Custom width, yes. Outline. Oh, look. Ooh, interesting.
What's good, YouTube? So as we now all transition from 2025 to 2026.
What?
Hopefully everyone healthy and happy and all of that. This is typically the time where you reorganize yourself, right? You close your old year and close your old to-dos from the old year, and you can plan your new accomplishments for the new year. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to show you my note-taking slash self-management system that I could develop and use now for a couple of years that really enables me to get shit done. I developed the system with the goal in mind to effortlessly store and access information. I don't want to think about where and how to put stuff when I write it down. I also don't want to think about or waste any energy accessing this information when I need it. And what I came up with is a simple yet effective system. It is simple because it's a very tiny learning curve, it's very intuitive to use, and it's effective because you really have all the information right at your fingertips, right in the moment when you need it. So So that's what we're going to do today. So yeah, let's jump in. The software we're going to use for the system is going to be Roam Research. It's an outliner application, which means that all information is organized, and which is also very handy. Also, you can decide if you want to store information locally or host in the cloud by the Roam Research team service, whatever. You can choose if you want to. Every day has a new daily page, and so you have a strong time association between the information right there and the context in which the information lives, so to speak. But first, let us set the conceptual foundation that is needed to use the system properly. So there's two kinds of information. Number one is the single-dimensional information. This is information that is already useful in and of itself. It doesn't require any further context or meta information to be understood and or executed. Like, for example, a single dump to do like clean up the desk, or some random street name, or some artist that you heard of that you want to look up later, something like that. The second kind of information is the opposite. It's multi-dimensional information, and this is also the opposite in terms of what it means. This is information that only is useful, not only, but mostly useful within a certain context. For example, you need to do some research about some amino acids, so that would mean the context is something, health or fitness or something like that. And this is all note-taking is. Note-taking is the management of those two kinds of information. So this brings us to what I call the tube and the lid.
What?
The tube is for single-dimensional information of temporary nature. In very short, the tube is for dumping shit away. They can be either for quick and temporary access right now, or further processing later, or just dumping it somewhere and maybe never look at it again, and that's fine too. Suitable software choices for the tube would be something like the WhatsApp or Telegram self-messaging, or some self-hosted version of that kind of information storage like Memos. It's a nice service I like to use. Or what we're going to use in this demo is going to be the Roam Research daily pages. The lib for library is different. The lib is for multi-dimensional information that is meant to last. This information, as I said before, is especially relevant within a certain context. For example, it could be a research task that you need to do. And then any lib.
Interesting.
Website, quotes, YouTube video, resource, whatever, would be organized under that research task. Also, the lib is where you put in anything that is meant to be for further processing from the tube. So now that we have the foundation straight, we can move on, and I can show you the actual practical application of all of this by showing you the system that I mentioned in the beginning of the video.
Single-dimensional information.
So as you see right now, I'm on some random page from Roam Research, and when I hit Alt-D, it brings me Alt-D, it brings me back home. What you see, home is the so-called daily page, right? Or like it's a stream of daily pages, whatever. So what you see is that here's January 8th, and this is because today is January 8th. So I have a strong time connection to the information I write down. And you see some random information I wrote down here. This is organizing stuff. This is actually today's video, and this is some random amino acid kind of thing that I wrote down. So now the beautiful thing about this is I know I have to do a phone call, but I don't have to do it now. I need to do it on Monday because it's a phone call towards a recruitment company, which is called Solcom, and it would be called Solcom, of course. And I first need to wait for them to call me, and just in case they don't call me before the end of tomorrow, so I'm going to call them back on Monday. So I know the call has to happen on Monday, And I go back home and don't have to think about it anymore. I know when it is Monday, I'm going to have January 12th here, and I'm going to see the to-do. And in case, for some reason, when it's Monday, and I cannot make it, I forget, I still forget the call, something happens, it doesn't really matter. This brings me to the second big superpower from research, which is dashboards. So I go and I type prevent pain tasks, right here. There's an extra page dedicated, and it lists to me all to-dos that are somehow listed within daily pages. So when I open the query, it's a query block. Right? When I go here and say edit block, you see that's a query block. This is a feature of a plugin that I installed for our research. Anyways, so you see I can edit the query. Boom, and then you see there's certain conditions right here, right? I want to reference everything that is a to-do, like this one. Oops, and I want to have it within a daily page. And you signal on research for the queries, you signal you want to have the daily pages only with is in page, reference title, date in those parentheses, okay? And the rest is not super interesting. The most important part is that we have a dashboard, that lists our to-dos in case we forget them on the day that we wanted to do them. So back to the daily pages, again, you see this is just random information. This is typically what you would
Interesting.
use as a tube. And just for the sake of completion, the other application that I mentioned before that I like to use as a tube is memos. So as you see with memos right now, this is how I actually authentically use that. This is my original memos. Container graph, I don't know how they call them. So you see it's application for that thing, I would say. So as you I'm gonna be on it 3 weeks. Or what would be, I need to backlink to this project and to this to-do actually. So again, I cannot miss. It is impossible not to do what you're supposed to do unless you actively refuse. So when we look at the project page, we see amongst other attributes that it has, we have the attributes category and status. And this is necessary to manage the life cycle, what I would say, of this project, right? At first, it's going to be backlogged. This is a default state that it's in. Because right now, it's just an idea that it's going to bring me to another attribute category, and we have the attribute status. This is what the page needs to have, so we get our projects pages. And the category must reference the title project, and the status must be in progress. Right? So when I hit the query, and I opened, took me, February 14th, it only took me around 4 months to do so. I already hit that goal. I already have a screenshot from June 6th, where I hit the goal of 100 words per minute, so I actually can change the status of this thing from in progress to done. And when I go now back to the project page, I close this one, collapse this one, open this one, then I would see it would be part of, because now I saw it, I forgot this. I go back to learn And just so I don't forget how that sounds like, I go and
What the fuck happens? Which motherfucker did that shit? Okay. Shit. Cargo build bin. Is that this one? Oh, it's not cargo. Run bin. Okay, let's OK， 有什么问题？这一版应该没有什么问题。先怎么说来着？有什么 warnings out there, right? Seventeen. Start a new conversation. Out of date. Shit.